Yeah, that's really bad. So today, guys, we are going to be taking apart my top end of my kx100. So I have really bad compression. I just posted a little video on that, but I'll show it in this video too. It might have been already shown before this, I don't know. And I just need to rebuild it. It's really bad. So I'm going to start by taking the seat, the front right plastic off, which I already did. It's laying over there on the ground, that little white thing. Then the two back side plastics and your muffler. And then after I do that, oh, and you're going to want to pull your, where is it? Your petcock gas line off right there. But I'll have that all in the video. It's a bit blurry. After you do all that, I'll get back to you, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. And stop and say real quick that to get your seat off on at least the kx100s and most bikes in general, once you pop these two bolts out on each side with the plastics, you pull up and just slide back, and there's going to be a little notch right here. I'll show you real quick. Now that that's out, you're going to want to just pull up, back, a little bit. There you go. If it gets hooked on that notch right here, that hooks a screw or something like that. So, yeah. And then there, your seat's off, so. Now you just gotta pull this bolt out right there, and your gas tank should come off if I'm not missing a bolt. And you're gonna wanna pull, well, that works too. Normally it'll come out from here, up there, but that's fine. Yeah, so once you pull that out, gas tank should just pull it off, slide it back, and then we can, I think we're gonna start on the radiators after this, or maybe I gotta take the pipe off, the barrel after. So, yeah. Okay, so back. I got the pipe off with the springs off of it. Man, she's oily. Okay. Either way, so now to take the radiator off to drain it. So, to do that, there's a bolt on the bottom right here, the pump. Unscrew that. That's the main drain bolt for the coolant system, but there's always more coolant in these things apparently. So, there's another little drain bolt right next to the power valves right here. So you're gonna want to undo that one too to help drain more of the coolant off. I'm just gonna let it run down the bike and get into my, hit my camera, down into the bucket. And then also, there's this one that you gotta take off. I'm gonna screw that one back in too after I get it off. There's this one here. There's no screws on that for some reason. I need to get screws for that, but I'm probably not going to. And then there's also this bolt down here to unscrew the radiator itself. And then these are pretty self-explanatory. You unscrew these all. So you're going to have to take these both off and pull that hose off, this hose off, unscrew this one, and you can actually leave this hose on if you just undo the top one here. So I'm going to start doing that, and then once I get that done, I'll get back to you on how we're going to start taking the actual top end apart itself. Oh, actually, no, after that, I'm going to take that carburetor off, so then we'll take the top end off. just wanted to mention real quick, when you're draining your coolant out, you want to open the top of your radiator. It'll help get back pressure behind it to help drain it out faster, and so you don't, when you take your radiator off, you don't have tons of coolant going everywhere. Even though, you know, got a little messy. That was my first time taking one off though, so. And also, you're probably gonna want a bigger, something to catch it that's bigger than that, like maybe a Home Depot bucket, because it was just going everywhere and I couldn't, figure out how to not let it go everywhere. So this hose is still on. I just took unscrewed this and just slid down to there so I don't lose it. I'm probably gonna plug some of these, like this up right here, so I don't get anything going in my radiator. Not my radiator, my pump. So that. And now that I got that off, we're gonna go to the carb end, and then we're gonna go to the top end, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'll get right into that carb. Also forgot to mention real quick, you're gonna want to take your spark plug off and check for any little metal BBs or anything on there, any sorts of little fragments on that, because that's not gonna be a good sign. And you're also gonna want to take your engine mount off. There's 3 bolts right here. Oh, my bike, it's moving. It's moving. No. Either way, those 3 bolts right there, and I think they're on the, yeah, so you're gonna want to hold a wrench on the other side when you take those off while you unscrew them. And then we gotta take the carb off, like I said, and the reeds. So I just want to let you guys know real quick. Carb's pretty simple for the most part to get off. You unscrew this, the boot holders. There's one on this side, one on each side. And then to get this off, at least on a kx100 or on my carb, I don't know if this is aftermarket or not. You just unscrew this. It's literally just like a little, just turn it like that. It'll come off, and then you're just gonna gently pull out the needle. Like so. Try not to get that dirty. I'm gonna obviously clean it up before I put it back in. Hands are all slippery. Yeah, so this is the needle. So I want to be very careful with this. So this is basically your throttle cable. Well, it goes to your throttle cable. So once that's off, I'm just gonna keep wiggling this back and forth until I can get the boots off. I might need to use a pick, but I've already had this carb off before, so I don't think it's gonna be suction super tight. So I should just be able to slide it right off. And that should be the only things that need to come off other than the gas line, which we already took off earlier to get the tank off, so. Now that I have the radiator, I took the tank and all the plastics off, the carb off, all that's off of it, and the radiator hoses and all the hoses are gone. Now, the next step is to take the reed cage out. So when you pull this out, be careful because the reeds are right behind there. Just be careful when you do that. And then you're going to want to take your head off after that, and you're going to want to loosen these bolts up in a crisscross pattern when you take it off. And if you can't get it off, the gasket off or the head, you're going to want to take a rubber mallet, something like, rubber mallet looks like this. Oh, here it is. There it is. Alright. Just going to want to take a rubber mallet and just gently like hit up on it like this. And just keep tapping around on it if you're having troubles getting it off. because you don't want to be too rough with it, because it's a very important part of the engine and probably not too cheap to replace. So once you do that and get the head off and the gasket, and my spark plug, I gotta take that off too. Then you're gonna start taking your power valves off. So there's one here, and these basically go through to the other side normally. And there's another. Normally it's two sides at least. I don't know. There's this, and then I think there's some power valve stuff behind here, but we'll get to that later. So I'm gonna start time lapse again and have fun watching. Alright, look at this big moment. It's my first head pull off. Oh wow, it came off really smooth. Surprising in the gas piston really got a bit warm, that's for sure. Nothing. I don't see anything seemingly that this has been horribly weird. I will find out. There's a little hole right there. It's so cool. There's still coolant in my jug. That's fine. That's so cool though. Alright, I'm gonna get back to the video. I'm starting to take it apart. Remember, I'm done. Starting to do the reeds. Or not the reeds, the power. I'm starting to take the reeds out. My reeds seem to look good enough. Not that I know how to really inspect this yet. I'll probably watch the video before I put it all back together, but... Okay, so I got the cover off. So now if I bring you down here... Alright, there's a little clip right here, a C-clip. You're gonna want to take that off with like a flat head. After you do that, there's a little, you can get like a 10mm on here, and you hold that once you have your C-clip off, and you pull this power valve back. And then after you do that, you loosen up the 4 base nuts, the one here, right there, and all the way around. So you pull that power valve off, and then you're gonna want to take your jug off, and you're also gonna want to see how high that piston is right now. You're gonna want to push the kickstarter down to a lower, so it's at a lower point, so it's easier to pull the jug off, so you're not fighting. All right, let's keep time lapsing this. I'll let you all know another thing real quick. You're gonna want to pull this little rubber boot down right here on the power valves, and when you take your cylinder off, be careful, obviously, but once you have it off, make sure you're holding it straight up until you get to like a bucket where we like drain the coolant. You're gonna want to pour that coolant into the bucket because there's gonna be extra coolant in these little cylinder holes right here. And the jug is off. So the workbench real quick, and then I'll bring it over. Oh, yeah, she's got some scuffs for sure. Ooh, actually, there's some chunks sticking out. Let's see what we got going on here with the piston now. Pull that up a little bit. The top's definitely been worn out. It ran a little hot. I don't see any sources of nothing too big. My gasket ripped here too. Huh. Let me go check something real quick, because I think there's not a ring on the side. Alright, either way, that seems to be okay. Take you over here. So, I do have definitely a lot of scuffs, it looks like, within the inside of the jug. You hear that? I don't think that's good. What's that? Other than that, I think I'm good. I actually might need to rebuild my top end, but I'm going to make sure I take my piston off and check my crank. Because I moved my crank around, and if you take a listen, well, maybe not. It actually might be tight. Hopefully I don't have to. But I'm going to take that piston off now, and then I'll get back to you. I mentioned real quick, to get the, oh my gosh. I might take it back, my piston might be really bad. It actually might have a lot of scuffs. Either way, what I was saying is, to get the piston off, there's little circlips right here, and there's a little notch right there that you can see. Basically, you want to take a pick or some needle nose in there and just start prying out and going in a circle until they fall out. You're also going to want to shove a rag down in this area right here, so you don't have a clip or something falling into your bottom end. And you want to take your piston to its highest point so you have better angles on to get the little clip out that you can't really see right now. But either way, I'm going to start pulling that out, and then hopefully find out that my piston is not an issue, but it's got quite a lot of scuffing on it. Which scares me a little bit. Either way, I'm going to start pulling that off. You have all that apart, you're going to want to take your rag off. You're going to want to check your rod has any movement in it. And if my bearings are good, which is, the bearings are really loose, I don't know if it's supposed to be that loose. I don't know if you guys can see that. But mine does have movement in the crankshaft, which means it needs to be replaced. So I'm probably going to have to end up doing that. So I'll probably just check through my bottom end, make sure everything's good. I'm probably going to end up keeping this bike anyways, so I might just replace everything just so I know that I'm not going to have to replace it anytime soon. But you can definitely see here, I'll take you off the stand. I'm going to take this bearing out so it doesn't fall. I don't want it to fall. It's just a little bearing. It's nothing too big. I don't know if it can fit right. So let me Let me just show you real quick. Yeah, shouldn't do that. So that means I'm gonna have to do the whole bottom end. So that probably means this video will be getting posted this or next week, and probably have to do that. And it looks like my piston has some pretty bad wear. My camera would focus. Hold up. Flip it this way, maybe. This way. How about this way? Doesn't want to focus now. Please just focus. Oh my goodness. I mean, you can probably already see, even without it focused, that it definitely has scuffs. Really, this looks pretty bad. I got some kind of concerned. And over here, the walls of this aren't horrible, doesn't seem.